All right, day 2 of working on this thing, trying to get the valves taken care of, and the parts finally came in. So we have all the fittings that we're gonna need. I'm gonna go ahead and load these up and get these taken care of. This is gonna be the outlet, so I've already got the muffler on this one set up. Forgive me, I'm working by myself right now. There's the muffler. This is gonna slow down the process of the air coming out, and because that slows the air coming out, that means the bags, when they end up dropping, it's gonna end up going down slower, which we want. We don't want this thing slamming really quickly. All right, so I've got both of them assembled already. There's gonna be the front one, there's gonna be the rear one. We have the relay right there that we're gonna be using. And this is the old one, just as comparison to see the before and after. I got rid of quite a bit of the portions that would lead to additional leaks, because the more valves or the more fittings that you have within the brass valve connected to it, the more potential leaks you have. So longevity wise, it's better to have as little connections as possible, so that way it's least likely to leak. So on this one, we only have this brass valve, or this brass fitting, and then they go straight to the valves. To separate them, I just used a T-fitting, which I think this might give me a little bit of issue for mounting purposes, but that's all that I have. They make like a T-fitting tree that goes upwards. I wish they had those in stock, but they didn't, so that's what I got is what I got. Now the next step is gonna end up being to wire up all the relays, which are connected to the valves, and basically these things are just a negative and positive pulse. From there, it's going to go to the switch, and so when you have either positive to here, you throw a negative to this, it'll open the valve or dump the valve slash allow air to travel in, depending on which direction the valve is located in. Now, that's the reason why you need 2 valves in the first place, because one of them is going to end up opening, allowing air to travel through from the tank. Then it gets trapped as you end up closing this valve, gets trapped in here, and these 2 go out to the bag, so that means there's constant pressure in the bag from where these are teed off from. Now, as soon as you want to end up releasing the air to air out the vehicle, then the air is going to travel through here. This relay right here will end up allowing the air to come out through the exhaust, which is through this side, and that's how you get a up-down valve situation there. So in order to hook the wires up, these things are disconnectable by just a simple screw on the top. This long threaded screw ends up holding it in place. You'll unthread that, and that's going to end up disconnecting this box right here that's going to connect to these right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to wire one of them up. By breaking this thing open, it'll release, allowing us to get to the wire connections. So you can simply just take like a flathead right here, and this will open by just doing a little bit of prying on one of these sides. So pry this open right here, and then you'll be able to get into what looks like a bunch of little screw holes. And so the wires are going to literally attach to these. You have a negative and a positive. It does not say which one it is, due to the fact that it does not matter. And what I mean by that is when you make the connections, the only 2 connections you have to worry about are these 2 prongs right here. As soon as you put a negative or a positive onto either one of them, it's going to close loop circuit, and then it'll work. So it can't be positive on both sides, it can't be negative on both sides. You put a negative and a positive, or vice versa, positive, negative, however you want to do it, and that ends up operating this. So we're just going to go ahead and run our wires from inside first, going outwards. And what I might do is make these completely disconnectable with regular terminals, so that way it makes my life easier to service these. Let's go ahead and do that. So last, we're gonna end up doing a harness for quick disconnect, so that way if I need to service anything, I can pull the whole damn board out, because this thing is not very easy to get in and out the car. If you look on Amazon or eBay or whatever, you can find these quick disconnect plug that has a female and a male side, and they just literally plug into each other like so. It's like this, and it makes it waterproof. There's the gasket right there in orange, and you just simply wire them inside and then just plug it together and it'll click together. For the female side of the connector, and what you do is you just splice the wire just a little bit, and then you end up crimping the piece together so that way it holds the wire in place. And I'm going to do my best to make this quick as possible, because this is really freaking boring to watch. And then you just give it a little bit of tug to make sure the wire doesn't come out. And this is what they look like. After those are all wired in place, they will fit into here. They will fit into the correct location. You will take this thing out and you will shove them in there, and then they will end up plugging into place. We'll go ahead and take this piece out, and then these will click into place. You will want to make sure you put them all in the correct functional order. You choose the order. It does not matter which location goes where, as long as on the other side, for example, this one's gray with a black stripe. Correction, this one's gray with the black stripe. As long as this one on the other side is gray with the black stripe at the same location, then you are good to go. All that matters. These things just make things a little simpler for places that you have a really hard time trying to get the wires through. And with that being said, I'm going to finish this last one, get the other side wired, and then I will plug it in later to get the air suspension completely operating. Let's go. All right, so now that we have everything completely wired up, I had the wrong side on the harness. They're specific to which direction they go. Now we have everything plugged in. I split loom everything so it looks really nice. I need to mount these things and go ahead and wire the other side of the harness here, so that way I can make the other plug and play side adapt to here when all this is said and done. So this is the final result that we have. This is pretty much everything we need in order to just literally bolt it to the back of the wall. And instead of doing any type of fabric here, I literally only had paint. So we took bedliner's paint and just sprayed the back of it so it's all black. So it's textured. This stuff is actually really resilient to any type of scratching and stuff. It takes a lot of abuse. There's one ground wire that's gonna go right here. So this is gonna be detachable. So that way we can go ahead and put the other ground going from here to the actual chassis itself. We have one fuse, or one wire going to the fuse block. That one's gonna come from the battery, and then we have an ignition wire that's going to come from here going to the ignition up front. Other than that, pretty close to plug and play. I'm happy with it. What do you think?
I'm grounding this to the top bolt right on this thing. This guy's. Hopefully.
All right, so after working days on trying to get this taken care of, we're finally at the very end. Here's the result of the trunk. After all the wires have been organized, we ended up vacuuming the trunk, and everything's working great. The only thing that I would like to do that's kind of up to him is we want to end up changing the steering column on this, because we don't have turn signals right now due to the fact that they're not compatible with his turn signal switch. If I wanted to use his turn signal switch, I have to literally rewire all the front and the rear, which would suck. We're not gonna do that. I already explained it to him. He said he's gonna do the column later on in life. For now, he's just gonna do the type of thing. I don't think there was really too much crazy stuff that was that hard. I'm gonna take a look at the fitment of everything. On the front, we have the switches that got wired up. I gave him brand new switches, as I mentioned from the very beginning of the first video. Oh look, I still have stuff on the ground. So he got brand new switches and the new toggles pieces. So overall, I think we accomplished most of the goal. However, we still have a couple little things we need to fix. It looks like we're gonna end up looking into some air leaks for the front and rear right side of the bags. Mind you, this car came in and it was barely driving here. I'm surprised he did get it here. He said he doesn't live too far away. Looks like we're gonna end up doing more work on the back right bag, front right bag. And I think I'm gonna end up trying to see if he might end up doing like a 4-panel switch, manifold style. I'm not really sure. We'll see what he ends up doing in the long run. But me, preferably, I would rather have like a Airlift Performance 3P management system rather than old school toggle switches that give this type of issue. We have a couple things that it could be. I haven't actually lifted it yet, but a couple things it could be. We could have either the lines, some of them might be either corroded or something's blocking the line inside the lines going to the bags. We could have a bag that's just completely shot out. I think this bag doesn't look like it's actually pushing up too much, so maybe you might end up having that issue. Or we just could have the lines that are different sizes going from each individual bag. So what happens, because we're splitting only two valves, so it's only able to lift up the front and then only lifts up the back. What that does is it splits the bags into individual pressures. Whatever bag is closest to the line is gonna get the air first. Path of least resistance, that one's gonna end up filling up faster, which makes the car teeter-totter, because now we have whatever pressure we hit for this one that didn't get enough air on this one, and so that's why we have the teeter-totter issue. So we might have to end up running new lines that are almost the same length all the way to the valves and see if that ends up working if he wants to go that route. Like I said, personally, I don't like old school stuff, but that pretty much completes this one. I think the next video is gonna end up being final piece of the upholstery for the cat skin.
So we should have the Lexus video should already be up.
Oh, that's right. The Lexus video is going to come up next. And if you haven't seen the previous videos and you just so happen to stumble on this, check out our other videos. We're going to try to post one every other day at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So follow, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Modified Garage out.